right back here. Slam Pigs Cruise Control. We are back, guys. Live. Episode number 18. Right here on a Biggie TMD. What's going on, everybody? As you can see by the thumbnail, the synopsis of the episode won't be as much the new Cruiserweight champion, what's going on, but the news that has literally just dropped today, we'll get into all that. But first, from Future Wrestling Podcast, I was just on the show last weekend live for Hell in a Cell predictions. My man, Mr. 205 Live. I don't have Michael here from Slam Pigs to do justice, so I won't even attempt. Logan, the introduction that you usually get when Michael's here. So, Logan Myers, what's happening, Pally? Welcome back. What's going on?
Hollywood Hulk Logan is in the house. I'm ready to get this show on the road. I hope you don't introduce the next guy or girl, whatever you want to call it. Probably a transgender.
Now, Easy, you literally told me 10 minutes ago, off air, that you're going to do less heel tonight because you haven't been feeling well. So look at that. Look at that, you hypocrite.
Sorry, I had to pull the Enzo Amore. My bad.
Where can everyone check out, Logan?
You guys can check me out on Twitter at LoganMyers144. Check Future Wrestling Podcast on YouTube right now. Like, share, subscribe, and enjoy.
Very good. Most definitely get over there. Check him out. Good stuff with him and Broski. NXT recaps, old school reviews, all the goodness, Future Wrestling Podcast. And, of course, the man finally joined us we had both shows together, gentlemen. Finally, Slam Pigs and Cruise Control together for our Hell in a Cell post show. Thank you guys for all the love on social media for that on Sunday. We went over 2 hours. And, Colin, it was a continuous kind of post show. You see what I did there? Welcome back, buddy. How was your week? And where can everyone check you out?
My week was fine. I mean, Baron Corbin's the U.S. champion. Great. Enzo Amore isn't, which sucks. But, well, not the U.S. champion, of course. But my week was good. You can check me out on Twitter at UberTieGuy. Check out my blog, which I'm very late with updating. But, you know, I've got it covered. Don't worry. I'll update that eventually. But you can check that out at Colin'sThoughtsNoOneAsked.wordpress.com. And, yeah, check out the episode Slam Pigs, where we discussed Hell in a Cell.
And as always, we will do our best to man the live chat tonight. Thank you guys for stopping by. But, gentlemen, let's get right to it. Coming into our episode tonight, I had planned on our biggest news story as far as our show genre, topics, whatever, being about Kalisto. But lo and behold, and I joked with you about this in the DMs earlier, Colin, when you tweeted me, because I found out through you, I'd been off the sheets all day, I worked, all that good stuff. Neville apparently walked out of Raw last night. And is this not confirmed as of now, but what you sent me, it's not confirmed. Yeah, you sent me a screenshot. Pretty much, Colin, what the hell is going on with Neville?
So, Ryan Satin of Pro Wrestling Sheet broke the story, I think. He was the one I got the story from. But basically what it says, I'm just going to read this article, is there's a rumor going around stating Neville requested his release from WWE last night, Monday night. And while we haven't been able to confirm it quite yet, here's what we know. Sources say Neville was initially scheduled to lose to Enzo Amore in the main event Lumberjack match on Raw. However, plans changed after the ex-Cruiserweight champion walked out before the show. In case you missed it, Kalisto was given the spot instead and won the Cruiserweight title, which he shouldn't have. That was me, not the article. While our sources haven't been able to confirm this information officially, an account using the handle WrestleVotes tweeted today saying Neville quit, and most people we've spoken with says that there appears to be some truth to the claim. It's worth noting that all wrestlers who ask for their release are immediately granted their request. So yeah, Neville might be out the door already. Because, I mean, I didn't notice it until someone pointed it out on Twitter during the match, but Neville was not one of the Lumberjacks in the main event.
Nowhere to be found. Didn't even cross my mind really until the news story broke that I looked for him, because I didn't catch the whole match from Raw. I need to go back for the shows later this week to review, but I caught the clip on YouTube. That's all I saw. Logan, are you shocked by this if it's true?
I'm definitely shocked. I'm shocked because, you know, he became relevant after joining 205 Live and winning the Cruiserweight title. He became a bigger star out of anybody in the last year because of what he has produced in that division itself. He has given a reason to me to enjoy the Cruiserweights because of what he's accomplished and I think this is definitely going to hurt the cruiserweight division as a whole. I'm saddened if tomorrow I wake up and it says he was granted the release.
I mean, I'm not sad. I mean, yeah, it sucks, but it's not like he's retiring. And I disagree, Logan, not to be a dick, but like I think for all the reasons you just said, for Neville, why it's a shame and it's a shock that he broke out. It's the complete opposite. This is probably the exact reason why he considered leaving. I was talking to somebody about this earlier too on Twitter about how we're in this weird goddamn era where guys make more money on the indies now. It's like all they got to do is get their foot in the door for a couple years in WWE, get credible enough. Christ, look at Jack Swagger right now, of all people, who wasn't over for shit ever in WWE except for the We the People. But Neville, it's smart. If that's why, yes, he could go anywhere right now and ask big money and get it flat out. New Japan, Ring of Honor, Progress, you name it, you name it. Neville has taken has Neville in the past year and a half, guys, has done what very few wrestlers have done in years, besides guys like Punks and stuff like that. Just rub it in people's faces who said he was bland and blah blah blah. It's just he never got a chance. We could have gotten this heel Neville from the get go had WWE not been so boneheaded and capes and all that shit. But I'm not shocked at all. I'm not. He stuck around long enough to blow everyone's mind to just what he's capable of doing on a mic, combined with what we already knew he was great in the ring. But no, no, yes, he for what he helped do for 205 Live and help bring some sort of credibility, I guess, to the Purple Cruiserweight title. No, I mean I feel like in 18 episodes, guys, that I feel like the general discussion always ends when it's with Neville saying he deserves better. He deserved a spot on SmackDown, flat out. Maybe that's some of it, but I'd have to lean towards money being the biggest reason, Colin, here more than anything.
I feel like money could be a factor in it, but I mean, at the same time, you have to think with the position Neville was in. If he goes to the Indies, he'll probably still be making decent money, but I don't think it'll be as much as in WWE. But at the same time, I think another one of the reason is like he doesn't like the booking. But if that's the case, if he's leaving because he doesn't like the fact that he had to lose to Enzo and then lose to him again, I think he's just being a bitch. I mean, and obviously I'm an Enzo Amore fan, but this, all that aside, me being an Enzo, and I love Neville too, but all that aside, if he's leaving just because he doesn't like a booking decision, that's stupid. That's just a bitch move to do.
And see, I think when
Calling
people
out
speculate on stuff like that, when they did with Aries and stuff, I mean, maybe Aries more because he never got the belt ever. Neville had a dominant run. I kind of like, I'm like, ugh, I cringe a little bit because it's like, do the guys really care? Like, it's business at the end of the day with Enzo and Neville. I mean, Christ, Edge and Matt Hardy put real life shit aside to make money, and they did make money in that little short run they did. That people, guys put things aside at the end of the day. More times. I mean, it's totally possible too. He could have pulled a Bret Hart. I'm not saying there's no way, Colin. I would like to think that he's not that petty, I guess, and that would totally ruin Neville for me. I'm like you, like I don't want him to be that kind of petty piece of shit. Let's say it.
Exactly.
So he pulled a Stone Cold.
He pulled a Stone Cold. Neville is right now with
He
the
pulled a Stone Cold
the leverage move he's pulling
with
right now.
like how Stone Cold did when he didn't want to put Brock Lesnar over years ago, and then he walked
Right.
out,
Right.
and it wasn't there for it was
that was more of a case though, not that he didn't like Brock. That situation was more of that asinine. He was pissed they were giving that away free on television. That's always been his argument. They could have did it for money and build it up. I think with the Neville thing, people are speculating it's because people just don't like Enzo backstage. I think that's the difference in that. Because Brock and Austin, I think, have always gotten along. They still get along.
Yeah, they definitely get along, but just my thing is this: I kind of can't get mad at Neville for even thinking that way. So I don't know why Colin over here would call him a bitch when there's lots of reasons that Enzo Amore has given everybody in the backstage area a reason to hate him. I don't see
speculation. We don't know. Like the whole kicking off of a bus thing. Ever since the rumors come out, like it's all. Yes, is it easy to picture Enzo doing that in our heads when we hear the rumors? Yes, totally. But I mean, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think about it, Colin?
Like I said, that was me just speculating because this whole news story broke just a few hours ago, so like we don't have all the information yet. Neville, this could all just be false claims, because I mean, in stories like this, given the time, are very easy to fabricate because with what's been happening with Enzo and him, winning the belt off Neville the way he did, someone could have easily said, "I'm going to make up the story about Neville leaving because it sounds real enough, to be true." So it could all just be hearsay. But at the same time, and like I said, this is me just giving out reasons. If this is the reason, because he didn't like, losing to Enzo and he didn't want to do it again, that's stupid. It's business. It's a thing where you can't always pick who you win or lose to. If you're told to go out and lose to this guy, you do it. You don't complain. You were put in that role for a reason. Neville had one of the greatest probably the greatest cruiserweight title run now, and even when the cruiserweights were alive back in the early 2000s. But at the end of the day, it has to come to an end. And if this is how they chose to do it, then that's how they chose to do it. Neville just has to suck it up and be like, "All right."
Now let's put on.
At the end of the day, I'm gonna
Go ahead, Logan.
go ahead, Travis.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say at the end of the day, I think it's just a rumor because just because Neville may have left the show last night doesn't really. That's just speculation. Because Bray Wyatt wasn't really on Raw last night either. That was also announced on the website I was looking at too. Him and Bo Dallas actually left the arena too.
Yeah, but they
due
ran
to
an
some
angle.
issues and
They ran a segment with Balor talking about Wyatt, though. It's not like they wrote him off. Maybe they had a family. I didn't see actually any of that.
Well, I heard that they were. I heard one of them was sick, and so I think it was just a sickness that put the Wyatt people off.
Let's take the last possible scenario, guys, with this Neville thing. Totally try to analyze every edge on it. Let's put the rose-colored glasses on, if you will. Is WWE finally smart enough to start living up to that ridiculous term, the reality era, and use social media to work us all like this? Could this be a work to invest more interest that they've been gaining momentum? Let's flat out say it. The 205 Live. This show didn't translate that with the crowd's excitement and whatnot, but lately they've been main eventing Raw. People have been talking about it at least more than they have been all year. Could this have just been a giant angle? I don't think they have that foresight with that many cooks in the kitchen and creative with just their corporate structure. I don't. I'd like to think someone's smart enough.
Never know. Never know. I think, Travis, that it could be an angle because of the way how he couldn't touch Enzo or he'll get fired or get can't go for the title. Maybe it's an angle where, hey, I'm frustrated with the way this is going. I shouldn't have to be a written down paper saying I can't touch somebody. That's bullshit. I quit. There's your angle. Get more eyes on 205 just to see if Neville returns.
I've never, I have no experience, to our listeners, telling you guys, I have never booked a fucking wrestling show in my life. All I've done is been a fan for 30 plus years, right? But I'd like to think, based on what I've watched, how we just analyze stuff on this show, and usually, not to call, pat ourselves on the back and toot our own horn or Anderson style, we usually know our shit, okay? It seems like translating reality into wrestling is one of the easiest fucking things to do as a booker because it writes itself. And WWE used to be the masters at that. Piggybacking off ECW, of course, but they were the masters at that. They've lost that touch so much, and we see little glimpses of this in the last couple of years, especially coming back when it seems like they're finding their way again. But then they'll shit the bed. It's this rinse and repeat cycle with them, Colin. And do you think they have enough foresight that this is all a giant swerve in a work?
I think it would be cool if it was, but at the same time, given a website like Pro Wrestling Sheet was to break the story first, I doubt it because they can't. I don't understand how they would be able to push the rumor out to people knowing it would get reported. If they could, and that's exactly how they're doing it, bravo, my hat off to them. But I don't think WWE is able to do that kind of thing. Given the if WWE itself were to report it, if WWE was to run its own, put out that official Neville has requested his release and was granted. Like, if they were to run that and then make that a swerve and have him come back in like a month or 2 months, that would be a great story. But having like actual news sites, like Pro Wrestling Sheet and other places report it, I don't think that would make it a work at that point.
But see, that's the thing. That's why if it is work, that would be so masterful of it. Because you guys know, you see a story like that break, usually it's a work when WWE reports it, right? It's just, that's how it is. But if maybe there was a payoff made to one of these sites from someone in WWE, who knows? To like I said, the rose-colored glasses are on. You know what I mean?
It's basically, you never know what could happen. You don't know what WWE's planning. You don't know what WWE's doing. WWE could be smarter than you think at times, and maybe this is the time where they're actually thinking, "Hey, maybe this will get a lot more eyes on the division itself to see what WWE can do to pull off Neville leaving."
And man, I will say, and we have to, because we're fair. We're dicks on the show, but I think all of us at the end of the day, even Michael, is fair in giving the Devil's due. WWE, I listen to Salamonster, I listen to Soup. I barely listen to Don Tony and Kevin Castle. There's reasons. I think you guys know why. Tolerability is one. Even us. Nobody predicted that Sami Zayn swerve will be in it. Everybody predicted how to book that match except that. I didn't hear anyone, not one of us, not any of the other shows that are really popular, say that. And they got everybody. That's a case of they still have it in them sometimes to do some shit like that.
Yeah, and it wasn't even on any website that I read saying, "Hey, this is the storyline that's going to happen. Sami Zayn turns heel." Didn't pop up.
And
Maybe
it
this
wasn't
is
like he was just
another
turning
one of
heel
those.
on like fucking Ryder or something. Like they did it in a way where this has been, everyone knows their history, and it just made sense. But it was that way of it's one of those moments where WWE sneaks it under the door when it's right in front of our face. You know what I mean? And that used to happen so much more back in the day, but we get less and less of that now, I feel.
Yeah, but it was a refreshing thing the other night for that to happen. So I think if they continue this with this and what happened with Neville and what's going on with the situation, I think at the end of the day, and I say the end of the day all the time because I know when I say that, that's me telling the truth and my opinion means something. I think this is a swerve by the WWE.
So if you don't say at the end of the day in any sentence, you're lying to us, is what you just said. It's a lie.
Hell yeah. It's a fucking lie.
You dirty heel. Let's wrap up the
At
Neville
the
stuff,
end of the
guys.
day,
Let's go around to each of you. Colin, at the end of the day on this Neville thing, if you were him, would you stay or would you go?
I mean, money alone, I would stay because at the end of the day, God damn it, I said it too.
I got you both to say it.
Look at that.
There you go.
Whatever. At the end of the day, I'm a wrestler. I do this because I love doing it. I would want to stay in, the top company in the entire world. I wouldn't want to go anywhere else. I'm at the same time, I'm not in their shoes. Maybe it's something they can't overlook.
Travel.
When this is all said and done, I don't think this is a swerve. I think if it's either lies and none of this is true and it's just something that got misreported, or it is true and in the coming days we're going to get that message from WWE saying Neville has been released from his contract. And once he does, I mean, he's one of the greatest wrestlers in the world today, easily the top 10. And a guy like him can go on to any indie promotion and make a bigger name for themselves and bring up the promotion. Like New Japan. One of the Young Bucks, I believe it was Matt Jackson, already sent him a tweet saying it was just he added Neville and it was a Bullet Club shirt. So if he is released, I'd expect to see him in New Japan.
I'd love
once
to
his
see if he went to
days up.
Japan. Because I think he fits that persona of a lone wolf just as good as Corbin does. I'd love to see him go against the Bullet Club. Maybe he'd be finally the one to take it down, and it finally runs its course as a group in an angle. That would be tremendous.
I hope not. I hope the Bullet Club never dies, just because I like their shirts.
I mean, the shirts will be. You can go buy a Hulkamania shirt right now, and that was like $85. The shirts will be around.
You can always buy a Hollywood Hulk Logan shirt. That right there will.
ProWrestlingTees.com.
We need to start a Patreon or Pro Wrestling Tees just to get that made, and then we'll shut down the Patreon after it's completed. Logan, your final 2 cents on the Neville situation. Would you stay or would you go?
I would stay. Keep getting your name out there. Year or two later, fucking leave.
There you have it.
It's
I
that
would
there's
go.
still a lot for Neville to do in the WWE. He can go to SmackDown, or he can stay on Raw, and he can win their mid card title or their world title. There's a lot that Neville can still do in WWE. It'd be a shame if he left.
I would go. And that very last phrase you said is exactly why I would go. It's a shame if he left. And say what you want, everyone has their different fucking opinion on CM Punk. He's just one of those polarizing type of guys. There are still those fans of CM Punk who clamor for his goddamn return. And when you can hang that over your diehards heads like that, just fans in general, I think if he leaves now, he's doing what Cody Rhodes did. Nobody thought Cody Rhodes sucked at all. Stardust sucked, but Cody Rhodes has never sucked when he left. It wasn't on him as a talent, it's what he was been given. You know what I mean? Now look at him. He's one of the most desired guys in the world right now to have on one of your shows. And I think it would just add more. You go and you come back, you pull a McIntyre. I think Rhodes will be back. Why would I come on, he's gotta be eventually. I would like to think. But you go and you come back, and then it's an even bigger deal for when, like what apparently they're trying to dangle the carrot in front of his face now with that main roster run for him. That'll keep him to stay. Apparently he's not having that. But I like that we all, for the most part, have different takes on it and what we would do. And time will tell. We'll see. Tomorrow morning's going to be interesting because I think we'll probably have clarity on the situation, fellas, and things will be confirmed at least by tomorrow afternoon on it.
Let's hope.
But that's not the only newsworthy thing that happened this week, guys. Before we get into the 205 Live review, new Cruiserweight Champion happened on Raw this week, and I got to say flat out, Enzo Amore's best match I've ever seen him have. I was impressed by Enzo Amore on his end. He kept up with one of the fastest, hardest guys to keep up with, I would assume, if you're a worker in Kalisto, like pouring smoke through a keyhole. I liked it. The problem is it's Kalisto. We talked about it a little bit off air. I talked to both of you separately. Actually, everyone's been talking about how this is just, I don't know. What did you guys think of it on Raw?
God Almighty, there's a God. There's a God. Thank God Almighty. Oh, I know Uber gay guy over here is fucking crying because his little boy Enzo lost. Wah, wah, wah.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
Are you being quiet, Colin? Come on. Come on.
No, I was
It's
waiting for you
alright.
to finish your stale ass shtick so I can actually, say something smart.
Actually, that was a new line. God Almighty. That's a new line out of me. So I don't know how that's my old stick.
It's shtick. Get it right. Anyways,
Stick.
I'm disappointed. I mean, once again, being an Enzo Amore fan aside, I think putting the belt on Kalisto was wrong. It could be me just kissing my own ass, but I liked my idea more of having Enzo beat Kalisto and them just having to bring in different cruiserweights to finally beat Enzo Amore after a while. I think that would have been the road to go. Now that they've done, and the thing is, and this all goes back to Neville, they did this because Neville backed out of the match and left the show. So I guess they're like, all right, fuck it. We're going to put the belt on Kalisto. I do think Enzo's going to win it back at TLC. That match is still happening, and I do think Enzo is going to win it back.
I do too.
I think they'll probably say now that Enzo lost the belt but regained it, now people can start facing him for the title. So that's how they'll kind of get themselves out of it. But I think it was a wrong decision. No one gives two shits about Kalisto.
Nope. And even if Neville hadn't walked out, the plan to still take it off Enzo this soon went flat out. They had gotten me interested, of all people. And I think he'll get it back too. This was just, either way, Neville, Kalisto, anybody, it was too soon, I think, definitely to take it off of Enzo Amore. It just, what was the point? I mean, yes, it helped turn Enzo heel more, and I get that. And it got people talking, but Jesus H. Christ, I just don't get it sometimes. Like, okay, Neville would have got the belt back, and then what? Then what would have happened?
Well, no, the report was saying that Enzo would have beaten Neville in the lumberjack.
Oh,
match.
he would.
Okay.
Okay.
Putting the belt on Kalisto was like a few hours before the match started.
So you're gonna beat Neville. You're gonna beat Neville, but no, we just can't have Kalisto lose. Nope, just can't have that. That I'm on board with that, Logan. I totally get that. Jesus.
Yep. Okay, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I'm glad it's off Enzo, personally, because I'm tired of Colin saying shit about it. But at the same time, God, why is it gonna be Kalisto? Why couldn't it be Neville? Why? Why couldn't it be somebody
Didn't have to
that
be.
was more relevant? At the end of the day, maybe it didn't have to be Enzo Amore losing. I'll be honest. I'll say when I'm wrong. I'll say when I'm right. When I'm right, I think maybe Neville. When I'm wrong, maybe it's Enzo. But Kalisto, right now, here's the question for everybody to answer: who's better chasing for the cruiserweight title? Is it Neville, Kalisto, or Enzo? Who's better at chasing? Who should be chasing the title more?
Cedric
Because that
Alexander.
exactly. See, another guy who tonight I think on the show we'll say it later, but I'll say my little piece for his little interview. He didn't do that bad on his promo tonight. I didn't think it was terrible.
Oh, woof. That was one of them. Ooh, we'll get to that. We will get to that.
We've heard worse. Come on out, Travis.
Overall, though, the match on Raw, the crowd definitely was into it. It was the good reaction when he won it. Definitely the biggest reaction I think Kalisto was. And maybe when he beat Del Rio for the U.S. title was a good reaction. But still, good finish spot off the top rope. The SDS, Selena Del Sol. And just, Mustafa Ali, of all the guys, being the one to call some was a little weird. But we saw that more tonight on the 205 Live. In general, did you like, just spectacle-wise, the crowd reaction, just the segment, not the booking, but just as a segment, Colin, do you think this was okay? Or?
I mean, I no, I. If anyone follows me on Twitter, they saw and listening to me now. I was not a fan of the ending, obviously, but as far as the in-ring promo at the beginning of the show with Kurt Angle and Enzo was great because Enzo is fantastic on the microphone,
I
and
agree once.
and the match itself, I also have to agree, was one of Enzo Amore's best matches I've seen him have, as a single star. Him and Cass have had great tag team matches all the time, but I mean, as a single star, Enzo, he's kind of finding his groove in that, and this was definitely one of those matches where it's like, damn, it wasn't just a one-sided good match. Both men, put on a decent match. And so the match itself, the Lumberjacks, I thought the match and the segment as a whole, great. Taking the belt off Enzo, not so much.
There you have it. Logan, how are the polls doing this week, my friend?
Polls, and more polls. The only poll that I had this week until maybe tomorrow night, because it's a 24-hour poll, was the poll that I did for the who was my favorite wrestler, Stone Cold, The Rock, Triple H, or Undertaker. If the winning vote was successful, then I will attempt the Blazing Challenge again. Stone Cold won, and I can't believe how close it was between Stone Cold and The Undertaker.
I voted Taker, like I said on Slam Pigs the other day. But you've got to do the Blazing Challenge. I've accepted. I will be there in person. I know Michael's going to try to make it, and we'll put it up on the channel. And thank you guys for voting. And look for Logan's polls this week. And I know that sounds gross, but that's not how you're supposed to take it. Other than that, without further ado, I guess, guys, it's time to get into this week's 205 Live review. Show kicked off, speak the little devil himself, the tortilla chip guacamole loving Kalisto. Kicked it off this week, guys. What'd you think the opening segment with Enzo and his new best buddy?
Go ahead, Uber gay guy.
I thought it was fine. Mostly because of Enzo Amore. I think Kalisto on the mic, hashtag lucha things. It's the thing no one is ever going to look past. No one is going to think of Kalisto's promos and not immediately go to the lucha things promo. I think tonight he didn't do terrible. I thought it was a decent promo, but I still think Enzo Amore. It's sad how unevenly matched people are with Enzo on the mic.
Yeah.
You can put Enzo against almost anyone in the wrestling business, past, present, future, and Enzo will win 9 times out of 10. And this was no different.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree. And I think, you know how we say a lot that less is more with Enzo? It's like when they let him drag on, it's unbearable. Here, he went kind of long too, but as he was a heel. So it was a little different, I guess. And I did not hate this promo at all by Enzo. I actually enjoyed it. I'll call the bluff right there. I don't know how I feel about the Gold Cheek. I don't know how I feel about Arya Davari. I mean, it's okay. How do you guys feel about that decision?
Guess I'll go. I think the pairing is a bit weird, but at the same time, I feel like it wouldn't work with any of the other cruiserweights because all the other cruiserweights have like a character, except Davari. Davari's just kind of there. So sticking Davari with Amore makes the most sense just because it's not that out of place to see them together, but it is that right amount of, okay, I'm kind of intrigued as to why they're all of a sudden friends.
I think you should stick Noam Dar with those guys too, kind of like a Miz Taraj on 205 Live kind of thing. They all like the
No
fighting thing.
MDR. No MDR could use a mic. He could use a voice.
Yes, a mouthpiece.
So,
anyone but Alicia Fox.
Yeah, I think she's done. I think her time has come. As we saw her pin fucking Sasha Banks on Raw this week out of nowhere.
No, Alicia Fox
or Bailey. Bailey, yes. Thank you, Colin. She pinned Bailey. Wow. Scissors kick all day.
By the way, I didn't realize this until today. Why wasn't Nia Jax even on Raw? Why wasn't she in the match?
Because she was out there with Dana Warrior, and she was breaking kayfabe with all the other divas. And Essa said divas because segments like this still make them seem like fucking ambassador divas.
No, it's not even that. They were doing the whole, who gets to fight Asuka thing. And I don't even think Nia Jax made an appearance on that entire episode of Raw. She wasn't with Alexa Bliss in the Mickie James thing. She wasn't in that match. I was like, why can't Nia Jax fight Asuka? What's wrong with that?
Make way for Dana Brooke, fellas.
I miss Dana Brooke. I have to admit, I forgot she was a person, and then I saw her, and I was like, oh shit, Dana's back.
In all seriousness,
I will take Dana Brooke over Dana Warrior any day of the week.
By far, I will take a 24-hour loop of Candice Michelle matches than one more segment with Dana Warrior and breast cancer awareness. It's done. Seeing the little clips, I mean, that's fine in between like commercials and stuff like. Come on, guys, come on. You don't see NFL games like stopping the game midway usually and having. I mean, they might. I haven't watched any games recently during October, but. It's fine. And oh god, just like with the Connor the Crusher stuff, yes, it's wonderful. And Susan G. Komen is not wonderful, by the way, but the Connor's cure shit. But it just brings such a halt sometimes to a flow of a show. Like you'll come from this kick-ass segment with Braun or something to this little kid died. Do you remember? Because we're gonna remind you he did.
Okay,
and here's a bunch of other little kids that aren't doing so well in the middle of your show.
Yes, but at least when you watch the Connor's Cure stuff, you come out of it feeling sad. You watch the Dana Warrior stuff, and you're just like, oh god, when is this bitch gonna go away?
Yeah, can this woman who married her terrible husband for his money please get off our screen? Come at me, people. I just went heel, full heel, way more than anyone has ever on any show with that comment. Anyway, yes, the Enzo, the Enzo segment. What did you think, Logan? Before we move on. So I'm stumbling now because I'm thinking of breast cancer awareness and all that stuff.
Well, before we got off track, which is fine, but first I want to say, Colin, Dana Brooks has been off TV because of her boyfriend passing away.
Yeah, I know why she was off TV.
But it's a sad situation, really young guy. My condolences go out.
Correct.
Yeah, and he died from choking and stuff like that. So that's just random, weird. But
good to see her back though, But Emma getting the win, obviously, to her death sentence. It's not like that. That's like the most. I didn't see anyone on Twitter saying Emma's getting a push. I'll just say that when she got that fucking win.
Oh no, it's so obvious. Emma, I think should have won because
she's the perfect choice. She's the right amount. It's not going to hurt.
She's the right amount of good opponent to the point where, like, okay, it's not going to be a complete squash match like if it was Alicia Fox, but it's also not. It's also like not a high caliber match that people would want to really want to see. Like people probably want to see Asuka and Bailey again, but they want to save that for like a bigger show. So I mean, I think Emma was the right call. She's gonna get killed, but
And I think Alicia Fox is, with that pin over Sasha, no, guys, it's not going to rejuvenate her career. They're setting her up. They're warming her up for after the squash with Emma. Well, it's not going to be a squash, but after she beats Emma, that's going to be like the short angle she goes with or something, and then she's going to get an actual name. And no disrespect to Alicia Fox, but you guys know what I mean. I think that's how they're going to do it. That's why.
Former Divas champion.
Ugh. Yeah, a beautiful Northern Light suplex. Best I've ever seen, maybe. It's so nice. It's so nice. It really is. On such a lackluster career. My God. 205 Live, though, after the Enzo Moore segment. Guys, is this feud over? Was this... I don't want to jinx it because we've said this 75,000 times because we reviewed 75,000 TJP fucking Red Swan matches. Another one. TJP officially with his new heel gear with his 18-year-old girl streamer hoodie with the little horns on it like a cosplay. What the fuck was that? Oh my God. But yeah, what did you guys think? And I know both of you are dying for just one more match between these two. I know you got to be Colin. You're craving it.
Oh yeah, no, totally. Honestly, I've kind of warmed up to the whole TJP Red Swan rivalry in the last few weeks because I thought they've been putting on decent matches. But at the end of the day, I'm really glad this thing is over. And it has to be. There's no way they just continue this thing. Because, I mean, you had Rich Swann go over TJP 2-0. You don't see that very often in 2 out of 3 falls matches. It's always someone gets a pin, someone else gets a pin. Those are always in the first 5 minutes, and then the actual match happens and the winner wins. You actually, got a decisive victory for Rich Swann.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the entire... And by the way, the worst promo on the show tonight was Rich Swann. That was brutal. That was... The crowd started booing immediately. That was so bad. That was a case of deer in headlights guy trying to remember every line he was given backstage. And it sounded like this. My God, that was horrible. But the crowd was completely dead for everything. By the end of the match, yes, they were a little upbeat and, somewhat, but the crowd translated how done everyone is. Everyone is with this rivalry. Jesus H. Christ, Logan.
Yep, I agree. Part of me is saying, all right, I'm done with this. Let's move on to something bigger, better, whatever. Then the following week we get the same fucking shit, different fucking week. And you know me with TJP. I'm not a fan. Please get him off my screen. That's as bad as the Brian Kendrick. But this match was not bad, but we've seen the same thing every match.
The only spin was what Colin said, where he went up 2-0, a clean sweep. That was the only... We've seen this match 17 times.
Yes, we have. And it's just, it's old. It gets old after a while, and we ask the WWE, please just move on from this shit. It's as bad as when Cedric Alexander was feuding with Noam Dar and Alicia Fox for like fucking 6 months.
You did say fuck.
Yes, I did.
Dirty boy. Can we move on? Speaking of moving on from this, because quite frankly, I cannot talk about one more review anything. Okay.
Let's go.
You know what I do want to see more of? Who have tremendous goddamn chemistry together. Drew Gulak, Enzo Amore, backstage. One of the best parts of the show this week. Everything great about the show this week was Drew goddamn Gulak for me. Again, Gulak. We did it, fellas. Again, another week the streak continues. Gulak reigns supreme. Backstage skit, Ari Daivari and Enzo with some more great heel talk. I liked everything he said back. He did not annoy me at all. He came off like a heel DDP when he was a manager in WCW at the beginning of his career. That's how he's coming off to me right now as a heel, and I like it. I'm digging it. I like him way better as a heel, basically. Drew Gulak shows up, guys. Now his gimmick is no chance with Tozawa. And what happened here, Logan? I dug it completely.
Well, the little promo that they cut back and forth talking about how, Kalisto is worse than what you think. He shouldn't be cruiserweight title. I'd rather it be on Enzo, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, I'd rather Drew Gulak have the championship. Why can't he have it?
I agree.
I mean, he's got the better character. He's not bad on the mic. He's a heel. I think he would be 10 times better than Enzo Amore.
He has a great fucking look as either that wholesome white meat babyface, or that wholesome white meat babyface you despise because he looks like that. You know what I mean? He has a great look in that sense. And yeah, like, my only complaint on this, I even retweeted Gulak's tweet today, Colin, about how it's a glorious day to wake up with Enzo without the belt or whatever. It's just all the bearing, and a lot of these guys have been doing to Enzo on social media and on the television. Now they're palling up to him. He doesn't have the belt now. It doesn't even make sense now to pal up with him, but that didn't make sense. But any excuse to get, obviously these two have great chemistry on my screen is fine. I'll, come at me hypocritical. But what did you think of this, Colin?
I definitely warmed up to Drew Gulak since, joining the show. I used to not really care about Drew Gulak, and then, Travis brought to my attention how great he truly is, and I started paying attention a lot more whenever he was, on screen. And just every time Drew Gulak is on screen doing, his slideshow gimmick, or, telling someone they can't dive or no chance, it's just, I love him. I love Drew Gulak. Push this man immediately.
I think we're definitely going to see him on the main roster. I think on SmackDown especially. I think, because there's no way. I don't even think he's 205 right now. I'll flat out admit it. I don't. I think he's got to be like 210, something like that. But anyway, I could see, because now we're seeing not just a no-fly zone, the no chance thing. You could do that with so many other kinds of gimmicks, and I think that'll translate well. And that's a guy you could easily flip-flop as a cruiserweight. But yeah, I mean, this great banter. I love how it ended with that little line before it cut with Enzo like saying it was terrible. I just thought the timing, they nailed it. It was good stuff. And it's, if anything on this week's episode, that's sad that a vignette is what you got to check out, but I would check this out if you're into laughs. And Gulak always puts a smile on my face anytime he's on my TV. So we all know that. It's established. Logies, hoagies, hold the pierogies. What happened next on 205 Live this week?
Well, what happened next on the 205 Live?
Smoking stogies. I meant to say that too. I just thought of it.
Oh my gosh. Was the video package of Cedric Alexander taking out Jack Gallagher and the Brian Kendrick? Please get off my fucking screen.
Can the
From last
announcers,
week.
can the ring announcers, the commentators, can Logan, can so many people decide if they're going to call him Gallagher or Gallagher? Because I'm done wondering. I'm done wondering how the fuck I'm supposed to say it.
It's Gallagher. It's Gallagher.
Well, it's not just me.
McGinnis did it, and he's fucking British. McGinnis kept doing it tonight. Besides singing Aladdin songs in the main event, but we'll get to that. But how do you say it, Logan?
Beautiful.
It was actually.
I don't get it. Like, some interviewers say Gallagher and then Gallagher, and then I'm just confused. So I'm just gonna call him Gallagher. Gallagher. There we go. I'm just gonna call him Jack. I'm gonna be a Vince McMahon and just change his name and call him Jack.
Gallagher. Vince probably just sits around saying that name because it's fun to say as Vince. I had fun saying as Vince just now, but this is pretty much a recap of what happened with Cedric and getting intense. And that talk went to the promo with Cedric, but pretty much nothing after that as far as Cedric on the show. Then we got supposed to be Drew Gulak taking on Akira Tozawa. Akira Tozawa makes his entrance, stands on the stage, gets the crowd to start chanting, and then attacked from behind. I really like this too. I liked how they used the sign. They're doing the Ricky Steamboat throat cell injury. He attacked Tozawa in the throat with like the edge of it, and Tozawa sold it really well. I thought he did fine. I mean, this was fine. It's good. If you're gonna comedy a guy like Gulak, of course you got to keep him serious every once in a while. Do something with him. Otherwise, you're Santino Marella, basically, who was in the news this week too. We can get to that if you guys want later on.
WWE did release like a kayfabe injury update on Akira Tozawa, and it says he suffered a larginal contusion and swollen vocal cords. I guarantee you, I butchered the word larginal, but that's kind of what it looks like to me. So,
well, it's fine, Colin. I appreciate you proving to me what I said earlier. If you hear it on WWE's newsfeed, it's kayfabe. That's exactly right there. It is. What did you think of it, though, Colin?
I went to go get a drink because like they cut to an advertisement, so I was like, all right, cool, I'm gonna go get a drink. And I came back, and all of a sudden, Tozawa was on the floor, and I was like, oh, okay. So I kind of missed it, but in the replay, I saw him, smack him with the sign, and I think it's great. I'm really enjoying the Drew Gulak Tozawa rivalry they've got going on. Anything to get both of those guys on my screen, I'm fine with.
Maybe he had brain freeze when he came back, and he collapsed because it was so intense. You didn't know. He had some ice cream before he came out. It was too much. It just brought him to his knees. Logan, what did you think of the segment?
Wow.
I wish it would have been brain
I
freeze now, actually. They need to do an angle of that where, like, this guy always eats a bunch of ice cream before he comes out, and he's really pumped, but when he gets out, it distracts him and he can't work, and it turns him into a jobber, and they play the angle like,
So
you gotta lay off there.
I
It
got
sounds
breaking
like
news.
TNA Shark Boy.
Vince Russo.
I got some breaking news.
All right, let's hear it.
Austin Aries is back at the Performance Center talking to Triple H about returning.
Where the hell did you see that?
Where the fuck did that come from? He was just doing like a vegan book signing, looking like Pitbull the last I saw him. Wow. On the same day as the Neville stuff, huh? That's going to drop. Look at that.
Aries, who granted his release from WWE earlier in the year, did not reveal why he was at the Performance Center.
Maybe
But he
it was
took pictures of the audience.
maybe it was a vegan book signing.
Wow.
I don't know, guys. Work with me here. The Gulak segment was great. Logan, what did you think of it real quick before we move on to the main event and get out of here tonight? Because it's
I
getting late.
apologize for getting all confusing.
No, it's
but
all good.
Sorry about that.
It's all good.
But I actually enjoyed this. This was a whole new, unique feel for the character of the Drew Gulak. It shows more aggression. It show, and I kind of said this about a lot of the guys, lately. All the guys in the cruiserweight division have been showing a new aggressive side because I think they want the division to win and they want the division to be a spotlight and get more viewers, and that's a great thing. So again, Drew Gulak showing this whole new aggression towards Akira Tozawa, and it works for me. I like it. I just like Drew Gulak altogether, so can't complain.
There you go. There you have it. Colin, segue us into this week's main event on 205 Live this week.
I completely zoned out for a second. One more time.
A segue us into this week's main event on 205 Live this week.
Right. All right. It was kind of forgettable for me, to be honest. I had to remember it for a second. So, at the top of the hour, we had Enzo Amore, Daivari, and Kalisto brawling, and Mustafa Ali came to make the save. And so, in classic Teddy Long form, they had the tag team match for the main event between Mustafa Ali and Kalisto versus Enzo Amore and Daivari. And honestly, I did think it was a pretty solid tag team match. Nothing special, but still an entertaining main event.
It was okay. Lots of jaw jacking from Enzo, playing a role of slash manager slash tag partner. Nothing spectacular, like you said, but it served its purpose, I guess, for a segment, for a whatever angle. Logan, what'd you think of 205 Live this week? And Kalisto getting the win, hitting the big shocker guys here, by the way. Arya Daivari ate the pin. I know we're just floored with that booking decision.
Oh my gosh, why would you even do that?
I know, right?
I'm surprised you didn't mention the singing, also in commentary. You said you were going to get to that.
I did with Mufasa Ali, and I popped when I heard that because I was pissed I didn't think of that first. And I called Kalisto Simba and quoting Aladdin, and it was a very Disney-filled episode of 205 Live this week.
It would be Enzo, of course. No, I actually this tag team match was just like a normal tag team match. You had your work on the face a little bit, and he needed that hot tag to get into there. And at the end of the match, you had Kalisto hitting his little finisher and getting the pin on. Yeah, it's just I don't know. This episode kind of pissed me off.
Shout out to that one kid, that one little kid in the audience who the camera panned to, and it said, "I paid to see Mustafa Ali." Shout out to him. That made Mustafa Ali's night. I don't know if you guys caught that.
I didn't see the sign now.
I did see that, and hey, Mustafa Ali's a great talent. He's a really good wrestler in ring, and he can take some brutal hits against the turnbuckle outside.
God, that was nasty.
Shoot.
That was very nasty. Yes, thank you. Thank you for reminding me of that, Logan. That was very nasty. Spot by Ali.
Yeah, that was. But we've seen him do it, and he reminds me so much of Dolph Ziggler a little bit. How he can like sell a lot of great moves and big moves, and I think Vince McMahon might see that here soon. I really do.
You know who we haven't talked a lot about, and we've seen a lot of new faces to the show over the past month or so. Another new face is Nigel McGuinness, and I think he's been adding a lot. We were a little weary of Graves leaving because we enjoyed Graves so much on 205 Live at least. I think him and Vic Joseph, they have a pretty good little chemistry going there for just getting together, and it's fine. And I'm enjoying Nigel. I like to see the silly heel Nigel sometimes, like we got tonight.
I now see why they replaced Graves, because can you imagine how he feels after doing commentary for a pay-per-view?
It's a better
And 3 hours
decision too because
long?
he's kind of like, if you think about it, like a British Graves. And having a guy like that, Colin, on a show that needs a more worldly feel to it, because quite frankly, the competitors all over the world like that, I think it's a right fit and it's the right call for now.
Oh yeah, I think it's great. I just think like it's kind of weird, you know. Now Nigel McGuinness always has to fly out to SmackDowns and all that, so it is a bit weird to have, you know, McGuinness take over for Graves, even though Graves could have just stayed out there. But you know, I think McGuinness is a great addition to the commentary role. Him singing during the main event was great.
Well, they have no problems flying out people like the Ascension and people like that, so why not McGuinness too?
Exactly.
Guys, there you have it. That's 205 Live this week. We did it. We'll see what happens with Neville tomorrow. All that good stuff. The new polls from Logan will be up this week. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me. I did not have a chance because my internet's been such shit lately. I did not pull up the live chat at all. So I don't know if either one of you guys called anybody in the chat at all tonight. If anybody happened to stop by.
I got Megan Starr in the chat. YouTube is a bitch. Didn't let me know when you were live. Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah. Most definitely. We have been shadow banned the past week, by the way, guys. All apologies. It's out of our hands. Social media is lame. But we're doing our best to promote ourselves all over the place. And thank you, Megan, as always. Our most dedicated listener, Logan. What a lady.
Yep, Megan is the greatest of following us and being there for us as a fan and as a fellow wrestling fan. Thank
Very
you,
well
Megan.
put.
I love you.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Guys, we did it. That's 205 Live this week. Real quick, let's get out of here. But where can everyone check you out? Colin first, your blog, all that good stuff on the internet.
You can check me out on Twitter at UberTieGuy. You can check out my blog that eventually I'll get my shit together on, colinsthoughtsknownastor.wordpress.com. Check me out on the Pro Wrestling Roundtable. I can confirm that a very special guest known as Kuzan TV will be making his return to the show for 1 week only. So check that out on the next episode. And
Perfect
yeah,
Waist Club.
Yep, hashtag Perfect Waist Club, Kuzan.tv on Twitter. Or Kuzan_TV. Yeah, and check me out right here, Slam Pigs Cruise Control.
Very nice. Kuzan's the man. I really need to get him on the show sometime. Been a couple shows.
Oh, he's great.
Yes, good pally. Mr. 205 Live, the king of cold cuts, the crown prince of pizza parlors, Logan Myers, Mr. 205 Live Future Wrestling. Where can everyone check out once again?
You guys can check me out on Twitter at LoganMyers144. Check Future Wrestling Podcast on YouTube right now. Go like, subscribe, and enjoy the content because this is what we do. Old school. We do all kinds of old school. We do NXT. The format will be changing just a little bit. NXT will be a more of a focal point going forward, but old school will be a monthly thing, like 1 or 2 episodes a month. And check out the greatness because Travis might be on a couple of these shows. You never know.
Maybe. Keep him waiting. Guys, seriously, thank you both for taking time out, as always, to join me. I will talk to you guys next week right here in Cruise Control. Till then, follow me on Twitter at TheHibikTMD. Check out the Reset Button, Slam Picks Podcast, Slam Picks Cruise Control, Grapple, Listen, and on K-Faith Today Podcast on First Thing in the Morning on YouTube. Check it out, subscribe, all that good shit. Keep enjoying a Hibiki Halloween. Until next week, Slam Pigs Cruise Control. See you then.
'cause I can turn